That was weird. Okay, so let's see here. What are we looking for? We are looking for what is considered a fast typing speed. A good typing speed is 50 to 70 words per minute. Fast typing speed is 70 words per minute and above. So I'm at good. I'm at the lower end of good. I am passable as a typist. I used to be an advanced typing speed person. I was 122 words per minute when I was in high school. I used to be, when I'm actually working and working off of stuff that I know to be there, because I don't look at my fingers while I'm typing. I actually am a screen typist. I look at what I'm actually reading and can type. So I don't look at my fingers at all. I don't look at what's going up on the screen per se. I look at what I'm reading and type that in. So yeah, advanced typists getting over 120 words per minute, though. They're using different keyboard setups than QWERTY. Ah! One word per minute? That's... How distract... Are you just using one hand and the other one somewhere else? I was just joking. Let's see. Got a server announcement. So let's see here. God, one of these days I just need to. One of these days I just need to figure out what the hell I'm doing with my life. I'm chronically online, and I didn't mean to be. Do 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 do. Blink rapidly if you're if you're in danger. Oh God. Yeah. I've actually been building towards this behind the scenes for about a year. I just only managed to really find one that I liked this past week, and I've been sort of building towards it for a while. Um, it's been one of those things that I've been wanting to do. There we go. And now owned is actually working once again. Huh. But yeah, where was I with this? Okay, so in the background, I've been kind of working on this for some time. It's only been this year, within the past couple of months, that I've really felt confident enough to be able to go through with it. Especially since I made affiliate. Don't worry about it, Ian. I mean, if you're that tired and you need to go to sleep, that's fine. I know that you're out like in the middle of that. You're pretty much like probably just finishing up with homework, and you've got school tomorrow. So, yeah, man. If you need to get to sleep because you've got uni classes in the morning, do that. Don't worry about me at all, man. Oh. You're a bit hungover. Sparkling water is your best friend. Oh, dude, I've been there. Oh man. But yeah, yeah, I've been working on this behind the scenes for the better part of a year. Did you go out to a release party then? Were you there? Were you out there trying to get into the release party for the newest album? Ah, no, doxing myself. Ah, doxing myself even further. Fuck. Ah. But yeah, like I was saying, this has been sort of something that I've been working on behind the scenes for a long time. And I've, yeah. Yeah, I saw. For those of you that don't know, our Ian is a huge fan of a rapper out in Romania called Ian as well. So he's just like, he's been, yep, music time, and then sleep. Because it's like 2 a.m. for you. Or 3. Yay. Yeah. 3. I'm either an hour ahead or I'm an hour behind. I'm never really on time when it comes to your time zone. Yeah. I need to remember that now. But yeah. So I was heading somewhere with this and it was like quite important. I don't know where. So yeah. His yeah. Install exe. Flint EXE has broken. Oh, that saying takes on a whole new life with the lore. Oh, God. Hey, Generic, how are you doing? That's good to see, man. How's your day been, dude? Oh God, I need to do shoutouts for everyone. No clue how you ended up here. It's either going to be because of coffee or Monza, or it's going to be end up because of Sparks or Visit or just some other random artist or VTuber. Yes, Monza. Because I'm an artist, and sometimes I do collab with coffee. And this is actually, you've probably more used to seeing me as an IRL tuber. Yeah, you're probably more used to seeing me as a flesh streamer. This is me. This is me just making my debut as a VTuber. Oh, fuck me, Lotus. Yeah. Upper grippers are ground grippers. The lore is the ground grippers. Because Lotus has to be the one to just inform everyone, hey, subs get grippers. Swear to God, she's trying to make an entire... She's trying to work on the feet wiki for me. You're fucking kidding me. All right. Assholes. Swear to God. Just how? I am going to... Alright. This is just the stupidest shit ever. Alright. I'm changing the camera now. God. Here. Just so that Lotus can actually get a decent enough, like, full... That's the good shit, you fucks. You fucking degenerates. Oh, Lord have mercy. You fucking degenerates, I swear to God. I swear to all that is fucking holy. I swear, you fucks. And screenshot it. Oh, no. Lotus, you need to fucking clip this. You have started this. Making this my wallpaper. Oh, fuck me. You asshats. Fucking chat. I fucking swear to God. I'm gonna post this in the Discord. No! I swear to God. I swear to God, you're going to end up clipping this and then you're going to put it in the Discord and you're just going to be like, I got another! Oh, God. No, we're not doing OBS virtual cam. We are properties. USB camera. There we go. Getting your money's worth. Yes, you are. You're getting your money's worth. That was much longer than last time, where it was just like, I'm just going to do this for 5 seconds and then go back. Oh, God. Dude, the entire lore is... Yeah. Yesterday, they started this up. I challenged. They fucking called me on it. If you look in the profile under clips, there's 2 clips of my feet. Because 2 people subbed. Oh, Jesus. In my Discord? Your favorite walks is the memes channel. And this is becoming a fucking meme. Oh, great. Fucking hell. Okay, I'm going to put in the uwu as well now. Oh, God. Oh, no. My feet are now a meme. You're going to tell this to Visit and just go, look up in Flint's Discord. Why? Just look in the favorite walks. That's the memes. Look at what I have made his feet. You fucking degenerates. No. 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 Why? Why would you do that? You know, he says he doesn't like feet, and then he's the one that actually comes up with the entire thing of, why don't you show your feet for subs? 5 gift subs, and then I undersell myself. This is going to be how I reach my sub goal. Feet pics. Oh no, he is a good influence when it comes to art. When it comes to being a degenerate, he's something. He's an influence. As an artist, he's an incredible influence. He's a great guy. When it comes to being a degenerate, he's like the worst uncle that you could have, because he'll just sit there and go, you know, if you do this. But yes, now you guys can actually see that when I stream, I do keep my trousers on. I'm not like sitting here in just underwear. I do put on pants. I am fully clothed. Proof, evidence. Screenshotted. There are pics. There are pics. It exists. Ha. Oh, there we go. Visit just commented on one of my posts where dem toes though. Oh god, where is that in his? Oh no. So yeah, that's the debut. Oh god, oh god, that's just no. He's gonna oh god. Now that he knows that the things exist as well, he's just gonna be like, oh great. Great. I'm gonna have to explain that in the memes channel as well, because there are like legitimate artists in there who are just like, oh look at what you did, and I'm like, why is this here? And I'm gonna be like, this is the meme for the Twitch channel. This is the meme. This is what it does. Oh God, no. I've done this to myself. I can only blame myself. Filled with feet pics. Filled. Absolutely filled with feet pics. But yeah, all right. We're coming up on the last 45 minutes of stream. So that means, as always, we're going to go through the read redeems. We've got 15 pages. 15 pages of Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Because you keep out the worst of the degenerates. While you are one, you can spot the worst ones because you are one. So we were on page 14. Right. So, here we go, everyone. Get ready for your bit of ASMR for the evening. Let me also move this. Do. All right. Indeed, to understand. Thank you. $15 pages, yes. Because there's the 10 pages from yesterday, and then the 5 pages that you redeemed today. So 15. It's kind of sad that this doesn't have a tongue animation. It would be fun to stick out my tongue. I have hydrated. I just drank. My eyes are bugging out because of the fact that I am just thinking on that for a moment. Please don't. I want to go home at 2. And by home I mean bed. Because I am at home. I'm in my conservatory office. Love you. Thank you, Lotus. I'm in my conservatory office. Just hanging out. Okay. Indeed, to understand how the abstrusest metaphysical assertions of a philosopher have been arrived at, it is always well and wise to first ask oneself, what morality do they or does he aim at? Accordingly, I do not believe that an impulse to knowledge is the father of philosophy, but that another impulse, here as elsewhere, has only made us of knowledge and mistaken knowledge as an instrument. But whoever considers the fundamental impulses of man with a view to determining how far they may have here acted as inspiring genii or as demons and kobolds, will find that they have all practiced philosophy at one time or another, and that each of them would have been only too glad to look upon itself as the ultimate end of existence and the legitimate lord over all of the other impulses. For every impulse is imperious, and as such attempts to philosophize. To be sure, in the case of scholars, in the case of really scientific men, it may be otherwise better. If you will, there may really be such a thing as an impulse to knowledge, some kind of small independent clockwork which, when well wound up, works away industriously to that end, without the rest of the scholarly impulses taking any material part therein. The actual interests of the scholar, therefore, are generally in quite another direction, in the family, perhaps, or in money-making, or in politics. It is, in fact, almost indifferent at what point of research his little machine is placed, and whether the hopeful young worker becomes a good philologist, a mushroom specialist, or a chemist. He is not characterized by becoming this or that. In the philosopher, on the contrary, there is absolutely nothing impersonal, and above all, his morality furnishes a decided and decisive testimony as to who he is. That is to say, in what order the deepest impulses of his nature stand to each other. How malicious philosophers can be. I know of nothing more stinging than the joke Epicurus took the liberty of making on Plato and Platonists. He called them Dionysiokoloques. In its original sense, and on the face of it, the word signifies flatterers of Dionysus, consequently tyrants, accessories, and lickspittles. Besides this, however, it is as much as to say they are all actors. There is nothing genuine about them. For Dionysiokolax is a popular name for an actor, and the latter is really the malignant reproach that Epicurus cast upon Plato. He was annoyed by the grandiose manner, the mise en scène style of which Plato and his scholars were masters, of which Epicurus was not a master. He, the old school teacher of Samos, who sat concealed in his little garden at Athens and wrote 300 books, perhaps out of rage and ambitious envy of Plato, who knows? Greece took 100 years to find out who the garden god Epicurus really was. Did she ever find out? There is a point in every philosophy at which the conviction of the philosopher appears on the scene, or to put it in the words of an ancient mystery, adventavit asinis, pulcher et fortissimus. You desire to live according to nature. Oh, you noble Stoics, what fraud of words! Imagine to yourselves a being like nature, boundlessly extravagant, boundlessly indifferent, without purpose or consideration, without pity or justice, at once fruitful and barren and uncertain. Imagine to yourselves indifference as a power. How could you live in accordance with such indifference? To live is not that you just endeavoring to be otherwise than this nature. Is not living valuing, preferring, being unjust, being limited, endeavoring to be different. And granted that your imperative living according to nature means actually the same thing as living according to life, how could you do differently? Why should you make a principle out of what you yourselves are and must be? In reality, however, it is quite otherwise with you. While you pretend to read with rapture the canon of your law and nature, you want something quite the contrary. You're extraordinary stage players and self-deluders. In your pride, you wish to dictate your morals and ideals to nature herself, and to incorporate them therein. You insist that it shall be nature according to the Stoa, and would like everything to be made after your own image, as a vast, eternal glorification and generalism of Stoicism. With all your love for truth, you have forced yourselves so long, so persistently, and with such hypnotic rigidity to see nature falsely, that is to say, stoically, that you are no longer able to see it otherwise, and to crown all, some unfathomable superciliousness gives you the bedlamite hope that because you are able to tyrannize over yourselves, Stoicism is self-tyranny, nature will also allow herself to be tyrannized over. It is not the Stoic a part of nature. But this is an old and everlasting story. What happened in old times with the Stoics still happens today. As soon as ever a philosophy begins to believe in itself, it always creates the world in its own image. It cannot do otherwise. Philosophy is this tyrannical impulse itself, the most spiritual will to power, the will to creation of the world, and the will to cause prima. The eagerness and subtlety, I should even say craftiness, with which the problem of the real and the apparent world is dealt with at present throughout Europe, furnishes food for thought and attention, and he who hears only a will to truth in the background and nothing else, cannot certainly boast of the sharpest ears. In rare and isolated cases, it may really have happened that such a will to truth, a certain extravagant and adventurous pluck, a metaphysician's ambition of the forlorn hope, has participated therein, that which in the end always prefers a handful of certainty to a whole cartload of beautiful possibilities. There may even be puritanical fanatics of conscience who prefer to put our last trust in a sure nothing rather than in an uncertain something. But that is nihilism, and the sign of a despairing, mortally wearied soul, notwithstanding the courageous bearing such a virtue may display. It seems, however, to be otherwise, with stronger and livelier thinkers who are still eager for life, in that they side against appearance and speak superciliously of perspective, and that they rank the credibility of their own bodies about as low as the credibility of the oracular evidence that the earth stands still, and thus apparently allowing with complacency their securest possessions to escape. For what does one at present believe in more firmly than in one's body? Who knows if they are not really trying to win back something which was formerly an ever securer possession, something the old domain of the faith of former times, perhaps the immortal soul, perhaps the old God, in short, ideas by which they could live better, that is to say, more vigorously and more joyously than by modern ideals. There is distrust of these modern ideas, and this mode of looking at things is a disbelief in all that has been constructed yesterday and today. There is perhaps some slight admixture of satiety and scorn, which can no longer endure the bric-a-brac of ideas of the most varied origin, such as so-called positivism at present throws on the market, a disgust of the more refined taste at the village fair mottliness and patchiness of all these reality philosophers, in whom there is nothing either new or true except this mottliness, Therein it seems to me that we should agree with the more skeptical anti-realists and knowledge microscopists of the present day. Their instinct, which repels them from modern reality, is unrefuted. What do their retrograde bypaths concern us? The main thing about them is not that they wish to go back, but that they wish to get away therefrom. A little more strength, swing, courage, and artistic power, and they would be off and not back. It seems to me that there is everywhere an attempt at present to divert attention from the actual influence which Kant exercised on German philosophy, and especially to ignore prudently the value which he set upon himself. Kant was first and foremost proud of his table of categories. With it in his hand, he said, "This is the most difficult thing that could ever be undertaken on behalf of metaphysics." Let us only understand this could be. He was proud of having discovered a new faculty in man, the faculty of synesthetic judgment a priori. Granting that he deceived himself in this manner, the development and rapid flourishing of German philosophy depended nevertheless on his pride and on the eager rivalry of the young generation to discover, if possible, something, at all the events, new faculties, of which to be still prouder. But let us reflect for a moment. Is it high time to do so? How are synthetic judgments a priori possible? Kant asks himself, and what is the real answer? What is really his answer? By means of a means, faculty. But unfortunately, not in 5 words, but so circumstantially, imposingly, and with such display of German profundity and verbal flourishes that one altogether loses sight of the comical niaiserie, almondi, involved in such an answer. People were besides themselves with delight over this new faculty, and the jubilation reached its climax when Kant further discovered a moral faculty in man, for at the time Germans were still moral, not yet dabbling in the politics of hard fact. Then came the honeymoon of German philosophy. All young theologians of the Tübingen institution went immediately into the groves, all seeking their faculties, at which they did not and what did they not find? In the innocent, rich, and still useful period of the German spirit, to which romanticism and the malicious fairy piped and sang, when one could not yet distinguish between finding and inventing, above all a faculty for the transcendental. Schelling christened it intellectual intuition, and thereby gratified the most earnest longings of the naturally pious inclined Germans. One can do no greater wrong to the whole of this exuberant and eccentric movement, which was really youthfulness notwithstanding that it disguised itself so boldly in hoary and senile conceptions, that it took it seriously, or even treated it with moral indignation. Enough, however, the world grew older and the dream vanished. A time came when people rubbed their foreheads, and they still rub them today. People had been dreaming at first and foremost. Old Kant, by means of a means, faculty, he had said, or at least meant to say. But is that an answer? An explanation? Or is it not rather merely a repetition of the question, how does opium induce sleep? By means of a means. Namely, the virtus dormitiva, replies the doctor in Molieri. Quia est eno virtus dormitiva, cujus et natura sensus assuspiri. But such replies belong to the realm of the comedy, and it is high time to replace Kantian question, how are synthetic judgments a priori possible, by another question. Why is belief in such judgments necessary? In effect, it is high time that we should understand that such judgments must be believed to be true, for the sake of the preservation of creatures like ourselves, though they still might naturally be false judgments, or may, more plainly spoken and roughly and readily, synthetic judgments a priori should not be possible at all. We have no right to them. In our mouths they are nothing but false judgments. Only, of course, the belief in their truth is necessary, as plausible belief in ocular evidence belonging to the perspective view of life, and finally to call to mind the enormous influence of which German philosophy, I hope you understand it is right to inverted commas, Goosefeet, has exercised throughout the whole of Europe. There is no doubt that a certain virtuous Dormotiva has a share in it. Thanks to German philosophy, it is a delight to the noble idlers, the virtuous, the mystics, the artiste, the three-fourths Christians, and the political obscurists of all nations, to find an antidote to the still overwhelming sensualism which overflowed from the last century into this, in short, sensus ospiori. As regards materialistic atomism, it is one of the best refuted theories that have been advanced, and in Europe there is now perhaps no one in learned world so unscholarly as to attach serious signification to it, except for convenient everyday use, as an abbreviation of the means of expression. Thanks chiefly to the Pole Boswich, he and the Pole Copernicus have hitherto been the greatest and most successful opponents of ocular evidence, for which Copernicus has persuaded us to believe, contrary to all the senses, that the earth does not stand fast. Boscovich has taught us to abjure the belief in the last thing that stood fast, of the earth, the belief in substance, in matter, in earth residuum, and particle atom. It is the greatest triumph over the senses that has hitherto been gained on earth. One must, however, go still further, and is also declare war, nevertheless war to the knife against the atomistic requirements, which still lead a dangerous afterlife in places where no one suspects them, like the more celebrated metaphysical requirements. One must also, above all, give the finishing stroke to the other and more portentous atomism, which Christianity has taught best and longest, the soul atomism, that it be permitted to designate by this expression the belief which regards the soul as something indestructible, eternal, indivisible, as a monad, as an atomon. This belief ought to be expelled from science. Between ourselves, it is not at all necessary to get rid of the soul, thereby and thus renounce one of the oldest and most venerated hypotheses, as happens frequently to the clumsiness of naturalists who can hardly touch on the soul without immediately losing it. But the way is open for new acceptations and refinements of the soul hypothesis. The VTuber doesn't have grippers. The VTuber does not have grippers. It has shoes. I will show you. It does not have feet. It has shoes. See? Shoes. You got a party weekend, huh? Party in the weekend. Party, 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 party. Party in the weekend. I can't take off the shoes. I don't want to take off the shoes either. You bunch of degenerates. Everybody just over here saying, no, take off the shoes. Show us the grippers. I've shown you my grippers. I've shown you my actual grippers. You can. You're just not trying. I am not able to. There is no way for me to be able to take off these shoes. Not only that, I also don't want to. Nah. No, I have literally talked with the artist. There is no way. I am not taking off the shoes. Never. Because there is no way to take off the shoes. You want to say that there is? Yeah, fine. Yeah, everybody wants to try. No. Why did I do that to myself? I am... There we go. You need another pick for Discord. I am not making an alert. I am not making a paid alert for feet pics. We're not doing that. Do you understand me? No, I get what you're saying. But I'm not making a free one that's based off of channel points. Not when you know, apparently you guys are willing to pay for the subs. We need to redeem for Pete. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making one that's actually a paid redeem with bits. Because I am not making a free one that's channel points. $1,000 bits, I put my feet on stream. See, now you've given me leverage. Okay. All right. I need to figure out how I actually do a bits redeem. Let me actually see here. Okay. No, 250 bits. 250 bits. It's like what? $2? Wow. Seems to be the way that things go. Dear God, Visit's got the most points. That is scary. He's actually got more than my bots. That is scary. He's got more than my bots, people. My bots. So, okay. We're going to do this. We're going to go into an alert. Add new button. Actually, I'm just going to... That's a test. I'm not actually doing that one. All right. You thought you found it. I had kept that one there just because I was going to use that for testing. But now I've changed it. So now you've got a text-to-speech one, and now you've got one for show those grippers. So you got one where you can taunt me with saying to show the grippers, and then you got one that actually does activate show the grippers. Ha! Such conceptions as mortal soul and soul of subjective multiplicity and soul as social structure of the instincts and passions want henceforth to have legitimate rights in science, in that the new psychologist is about to put an end to the superstitions which have hitherto flourished with almost tropical luxuriance around the idea of the soul. He is really, as it were, thrusting himself into a new desert and a new distrust. Ara ara? It makes me say ara ara. You're gonna hate me on your next stream. I mean, okay. Why am I going to hate you? What would make me hate you? What are you going to do that's going to make me hate you? You're not going to say. You're not going to say. If you're not going to say, what makes you think that I'm going to hate it? Huh? Yeah. So, whether or not you think that I'm going to hate it is all dependent on your mindset. Ha. By the way, this is going to be the last stream where I'm doing these for like 5 pages of redeem. Next up, it's going to be a page of redeem. Just because I don't want to be sitting here until like 3 o'clock in the morning reading for specific streams to catch up on the redeems. But I got, you know what? You know what? I will set up a Patreon then. I'll set up a Patreon, and like if it actually gets, we'll say what, 10? If it gets 10 patrons at like $1 tier, like so for like 10, no, yeah, for like $10 a month, what I'll do then is I will produce one video per month of me reading 20 pages out of whatever philosophy book people want. How does that sound, Lotus? Ow. Ow! Do you know how long it's going to take to like do an entire thing, like an entire ASMR video of me reading philosophy? That's like 4 hours of editing. I think asking for like $10 a month. And it doesn't even have to be one person. It's got to be like 10 people. I think asking that much is kind of like underselling again. But no, in all seriousness, if like people do want to have reading streams, I can do that like once a week. You probably will what, Lotus? You probably would what? Yeah. You do like hearing me read. I know that you like hearing me read. So, like, okay. I'll put some serious thought into it. Like, I'll probably set up a $1 Patreon or like a $2. It'll probably end up being $2 just so that it doesn't all get swallowed up by Patreon. In regards to like the actual fees and everything. Mistype. Mistype. She needs to find a Mr. Keyboard. And that way she can become a Miss Key. Or a Mrs. Key. I thought I actually had a chat add-on here. You're using your phone. You know, I use my phone for like 90% of the streams that I watch as well. So I get that. But at the same time, I'm not going to like not completely just ream you for the fact that, you know, you did a funny. Am I making you a little bit mad, Lotus? But anyways, yeah, I'm going to need to head out now. So that means I'm going to be sending us off to raid. Let's see here. So let's see here. We're going to go into Twitch. All right. We're going to go into creator dashboard. Thank you very much, you guys. I'm going to send you off to hopefully somebody you're all going to enjoy, because they are a gaming streamer. You guys probably know them a bit if you've been following Prof and Vral. So yeah, they've been up for about... Yeah, they've been up for about 55 minutes. So everybody who can, we're going to be doing this. Copy that message, and we're going to be rating right now. I want to say thank you all. You all have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me for tonight and the debut. And you guys take care, enjoy the evening, and enjoy Crim.